am Tawra, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook with over 1,200 recipes and tips to help you eat better and spend less. Through tomorrow, what's tomorrow's date? September what? Must be 16th?
17th, because today's
September
the 16th.
17th. 2019, we have our 3-book set, Dining on a Dime, Penny Pinch Mama, and our Menus on a Dime, just $4 or $5 more for these two. Whole set, $29, $4 I think. $29, so a stinking good deal. And it's not going to be offered this low again. It's in celebration for our new name.
Woo.
Living on a Dime to grow
rich. I was waiting to see if you would say it if I didn't.
We are living on a dime to grow rich now, if you haven't watched us last couple of episodes. So
we're stressing we're about making your life better, not just about hanging out.
Yes, we are. So anyway, so go grab our 3-book set. livingonadime.com is still our email address. Okay. So today we are talking about how to make chocolate pie and how we saved $1 million. And guys, you might want to wait till the end of the show because we're doing a giveaway, okay? We're doing giveaways. So, if you're watching this later, I'm really sorry. This is for our live show. We are rewarding those who watch us, and it doesn't sound right, but we are doing all live shows now, so we'll start doing some giveaways where we can give them away later, possibly. Okay, so today the recipe that we are making is the chocolate pie, and I had it opened and I closed it. So
I'm
right
going
here,
to share a link to it.
it is on page 250. Page 250, the 20th anniversary of Dining on a Dime. We have like 6 editions out there because we've been around for 20 years now. So whatever edition you have, just look in the index, guys. Graham cracker crust, page 247. So I am not feeling that spiffy today, so I just made a graham cracker crust. This literally took me not even 3 minutes. Smash up the graham crackers, pour in the butter and the sugar, mix it all in, put it in my pie crust, and then bake it for 10 minutes, okay?
Ooh.
So
did you make the pie crust out of the... Isn't that in the book?
Yeah, that's in the book. I just showed it.
Got it.
Then I'm making the chocolate pie filling. Now here's a little tip that I thought would be good. If you wanted, you could put a layer of marshmallows or marshmallow fluff, and then you've got a s'more pie, which would be super yummy. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we saved $1 million after I make the chocolate pie. Dining on a Dime cookbook, 20th anniversary edition, page 250. So we got our sugar. Mike will put a link, and the link is in the description below for this recipe.
Lisa was asking for the giveaway you mentioned. Do you have to post a comment in order to win?
Yes, and I will give you guys a little bit of notice for posting to win. Okay, so go ahead. I am doing sugar and my cornstarch and my salt.
I'm sharing this link in the comments, but if you don't see it here, you can go to livingonadime.com and click show notes. And it's also in the description on the video.
Then my cocoa right here, cocoa powder. Now this is baking cocoa. Baking cocoa. This is what it looks like. This is not hot chocolate mix. There is a difference. Okay, it's not hot chocolate mix. So mixing these in just to get all the lumps out.
What's the difference?
Well, baking cocoa is pure cocoa, and hot chocolate mix has sugar and milk and who knows what else depending on what kind you get. So
yeah, this has no sugar in it.
No sugar, no nothing in it. This is just straight, basically cocoa. Okay, chocolate cocoa, not hot chocolate cocoa. Okay, then we are going to, then we are going to add in our milk, egg yolks, and vanilla. Okay, Now this one calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, so I'm going to actually measure this one. And I did not mean to do that. Okay, just ignore that step. Vanilla goes in last. Sorry, like I said, I'm not feeling good. I meant to grab my milk.
But since we're improvisers.
So it's not going to hurt anything, but the vanilla evaporates because it's alcohol. So I'll just re-put it in again. Okay, so I got my milk in there. And got my butter. Oh wait, no, not the butter yet. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry guys. I am just not feeling very good today. Okay, eggs.
Should have had me do the show.
I should have. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Okay, if you've never done egg whites, separated them from the egg yolks, you take your egg yolk, go back and forth, doop-de-doo, just like this.
So you don't want the egg whites in this recipe?
No, you want only the egg yolks in this recipe. Now, save these egg whites, of course, because you can use them for your omelet or scrambled eggs in the morning for breakfast. I don't like a just egg white omelet, so I usually will add like 2 regular eggs, and then we'll all have scrambled eggs. Okay. Then here's another tip I was going to show you guys. I keep forgetting to tell you this, but I take my egg cartons and I just rip off the top, and then I just set my eggs straight in my refrigerator like this in the little egg thingy. Then I'm not having to transfer eggs over every time I do that. So there's a little tip there for you. Okay, so now I got my milks and my egg yolks into my cornstarch mixture. And then we'll get the butter and vanilla at the end.
So do you know where your mom is? Everyone's wondering.
Her friend's mom died today. Or not died today, her funeral was today. She died while Mom was gone, and so she's doing that. Okay, so see how you get it all whipped and mixed together? Okay, so now we're going to come back here to the stove. And we're going to get the stove going. Right
that
there.
Smells really good.
It does?
And
yeah. Too bad you don't have smell-o-vision. Someday.
okay. Alrighty. So, once again, Dining on a Dime cookbook right here, page 250, chocolate pie. Right there, page 250, chocolate pie. Now, we're going to stir this until it gets thickened, okay? And you just stir and stir and stir until it gets thickened, okay? All right, so do we have any questions while this is getting thick?
Yes, but I wasn't sure if you wanted on that topic yet.
This would be a good time.
Well, it's on the other topic.
It's on how we saved $1 million?
Yeah.
We already have questions and we haven't even talked about it? Wow. Okay, so what are the questions so when we get there?
Well, just one person is asking, how does one save $1 million when you're making a minimum wage of $15? So I figured...
Well, you get a job that's more than $15. There's a point you got to earn more. And we learned that with our lives. We were living on $6 an hour and $15 an hour. And for, my goodness, like what, the first 20 years of our marriage? Like the first 10 years of our marriage, we never made more than about $25,000 a year, $25,000 to $30,000 a year. For the first 10,
I should have
12.
changed careers. I was a TV guy, and TV doesn't pay well.
No. And so then after that, Mike was working for Living on a Dime, and then we started making about $50,000 a year. And so it boils down to you're just going to have to start earning more money if you are just earning $15 an hour now.
But you can still save proportionally, and you can still save in there because we don't make $1 million.
No, but during that whole time, our focus was we are going to pay off our house. And even though
we didn't say what it was yet.
We were, I know, but even though we weren't making any money, we had goals like that we were focusing on. And so because we were focusing on those goals, it didn't matter how much we made. We were making $6 an hour and we were paying off our credit cards. Because at that time, our goal was to get rid of that $3,000 in credit card debt, even though Mike was only making $6 an hour. So we kept...
Because that was that close to minimum wage at the time?
Yeah. And so then... So then you have to just start focusing on how can I earn more money? What can I do to earn more money? Because there is a point you have to just earn more money. You can't expect
the job isn't working. You gotta move
to save hundreds of thousands of dollars on $15 an hour if that's all you're doing.
But we've kind of shared it before, and we'll probably talk about it in other shows too. There are a lot of ways to improve your money situation, even not directly in your regular job.
Yeah. And go back into some of our videos and type in side hustle in the search. We did a whole bunch of videos with my assistants and mom on side hustles that you can do to earn extra money. This is what I was going to say. But if you're earning $15 an hour, if you and your spouse are both earning $15 an hour, that's like $60,000 a year.
Ooh.
That's way plenty to be saving a good chunk of change. So
and paying off things.
Don't use the $15 an hour as an excuse, especially if both of you are working. So, okay.
Santana Grandma, hi.
Hello. I heard you were traveling all over. I hope you had a good time. Okay. So we're whisking the pudding because you don't want it to burn on the bottom of the pan. Okay.
Did you have the vanilla back in?
No, I'm going to at the end.
Oh, I thought you had added before. Okay.
So Tawra will be giving more details about kind of what that's about.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about how we saved $1 million. I wanted to show you guys how we make our chocolate pie because this is just super yummy. Now, if you want to make this more of a chocolate mousse pie, you could take some whipping cream and do half whipping cream and half milk. You could take some whipping cream and fold in whipping cream into the chocolate base. What are some variations you could do with this? You can, you can add some chocolate chips to it. You could add white chocolate chips to it. You could add, instead of the butter, you could add peanut butter. You can add marshmallow fluff, and put that in there. You could do any kind of variations that you want. I mean, there could be endless variations. Now, Dining on a Dime, page 220 or 250 is the page. We do not have the variations because when we wrote this book 20 years ago, we wanted it to be for the ultra frugal, okay? For super, super cheap people who needed everything from scratch.
Because when we originally wrote it, we were there.
Because when we originally wrote it, we were making...
We wrote it for ourselves.
Well, when the idea came to me, Mike was unemployed. So he had just lost his job, and I had just the same day found out that I was pregnant with our first. And so that was kind of interesting. And my whole goal for writing the book was to pay off our house, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so you can see how nice and thick that is now. See how nice and thick that is? Mm-hmm. Now, instead of putting in the butter, if you want, you could put in peanut butter, if you like peanut butter. You could put peanut butter and chocolate chips on top. You could do all kinds of things. Okay, so we got the butter in. Now we're re-pouring in the vanilla. I'm not going to measure it this time. Okay, because remember our vanilla evaporated because it's made with alcohol. Okay. Okay, so then all you do, this recipe takes less than probably like 15 minutes to make. Then you pour it in your pie shell. Can they see that, Dave?
Yeah.
Sorry, sneaky person.
Okay. And then...
There it is. It's looking great.
There's some in with the cups, Ellie. Okay, and then you go in. Get all of that yummy
Man,
goodness.
that looks good.
Yeah.
Smells even better.
Oh wait, did
And
you do
there-
the vanilla?
Huh?
Do you do the vanilla?
Yep, I did do the vanilla.
Okay, good.
And there is your chocolate pie. Now, you want to put this in the refrigerator and let it set up. And then you can put whipped cream with little sprinkles of chocolate if you want, or a little dusting of cocoa powder if you want. Just put it in a little sieve and do that. I was trying to dry this so Dad could taste test it.
Oh.
Think Dad should taste test it?
Yep.
I just
It
didn't
might
want
be
to
warm.
defile the...
Man, that is delicious.
Is
Tastes
that
like-
good?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say it tastes like Nutella, but then I'm like, there's no peanut.
Yeah,
well,
you could add Nutella in there too instead of butter
just
if you want.
hazelnut
That would
stuff.
be really yummy. Okay,
Isn't
so
Nutella just hazelnut and chocolate?
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so page. Oh, I told you guys the wrong page number. I am so sorry. I am giving away an older Dining on a Dime. The page number in the 20th anniversary is chocolate 322. I am so sorry. So don't forget, Dining on a Dime, Penny Pension Mama, and Menus on a Dime. It's the menu planning that goes with the recipes and dining. $29 right now, guys. We got them on sale. Okay, so that's our little commercial break.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't even notice you were doing the commercial break.
Did you put a link in?
Yes, I am
So?
right now. By the way, you're getting a lot of questions about. A lot of people have spied an appliance in the background. They're wondering what's up with that. Like,
We'll talk about that at the end
We
of the
thought
show.
that we thought this, well, what do you call it? Rivalry? I don't know. This whatever. And then,
Yeah, I don't know what you would call it. Okay, and don't forget, guys, we're going to do a giveaway for Dining on a Dime and Quick and Easy Menus towards the end of the show. So if you want a chance to win that, we will announce that for a giveaway. Okay.
Cindy wants to know: do we still use our recipes now that we're debt free?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We haven't really changed anything
What?
about our normal day-to-day life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do. I use them because here's the thing. If I can spend $350 a month on my grocery bill, why would I do that when a lot of people will spend $500 or $600 for the same size family? If I can do it for $350, that's $350 more that I could spend on things I want. 2 nights at a really nice hotel. I could use it to go buy me a new purse or whatever I want. And so even though we've paid off our house, we're not going to waste money. I mean, my goodness, you eat it and you poop it right out. You might as well be pooping dollar bills. Now that you think about it, you know.
Too much information. Oh.
So, talk about flushing money down the toilet. So why would you do that? So anyway.
Well, actually, if you think about people eating too much and then spending money to get the weight off, I guess that kind of makes sense.
There you go.
By the way, there are a couple things about the pie. Mary Ann says, I have shortbread cookies. Wonder if that would make good
That would be
crust."
really good.
I
Just
thought so,
smash
too.
it up and do the same thing as the gingerbread. Yeah, as the graham cracker.
And Victoria says, looks like it'd be great for pudding for the kids.
Yes. So you could just take the same recipe and just make it pudding instead if you want. But we also have a chocolate pudding recipe in dining, which is basically the same thing. But
All right.
okay, so we had a revelation the other day when we were talking about our name change a couple weeks ago. We were working on our whole name change thing. And we were looking up some keywords for some shows that we were planning to do. And Mike discovered that one keyword that people rarely type in is how to pay off my mortgage. And we were like, seriously, people really don't search how to pay off your mortgage? And so I got to thinking, and I sat and figured out. Now, we are in Colorado, one of the most expensive places in the country now. I know, I'm sure I'll get emails from everybody in California and New York, Seattle, whatever. Colorado is right up there now with those places. So we sat down and figured, and by not having an $1,800 a month mortgage payment for the principal and interest only, which is $2,200 a month if you include your taxes here in Colorado and insurance. I don't know. Maybe in the bedroom. We saved ourselves almost $1 million.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that was perfect! You right on key.
I just heard $1 million.
I'm so proud of you. So we sat and figured up, and by paying off our mortgage right before Mike turns 50, assuming he lives another 45 years, we're assuming that, right?
Hopefully.
We're
I'm
hoping.
living forever, babe.
Oh no. Okay. Assuming I go first and he's living the rest of the time. We will save ourselves almost $1 million. $972,000. And that's really being conservative with houses here in Colorado. We did a fairly low priced house in Colorado.
Well, and part of this came out of a discussion I had with some friends that are in their mid to late 70s, talking about still paying on a mortgage in a large way. And I know they've been living a high lifestyle all this time, but now they're retired and they have a huge mortgage. Like, not one person.
Yeah.
Several people that I talked to, and we know that's not uncommon.
Well, and we've talked to people that are our age, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to have a mortgage until I die. Are you kidding me? So let me put this in perspective. Everyone gets on to us because we haven't saved for retirement. If your company matches your retirement, go for it. You can pay off your house or you can match your retirement. I don't care what you do. But Mike's company does not do that. So, just for you guys who know, this is his job. We're self-employed, so we are our own company. It was a joke for those of you who don't know. So anyway, but think about this. Nobody puts it in this perspective. That is $1 million. We do not have to save up for retirement to live on in retirement. People never think about it in those terms. But now we have just saved ourselves over $1 million that are around, well, actually over $1 million, because this is assuming that we don't change anything. And most houses in the next 45 years are going to be more expensive than what we are claiming this $2,200 house payment right here. So, but $1 million is what we won't have to save up for our retirement now. I mean, that's a huge chunk of change.
Wow. Actually, I'm not surprised. Julia says, no one ever suggested to me about paying off early until I heard you guys saying it. You know, there are a lot of people that I've met who nobody really told them. Like our friend that we were talking about, we tried to persuade the family, but she just said, I'm never going to get out of this, and so I'm just resigning that I'm going to have a mortgage till I die. And we were thinking, no. I mean, it takes a while, but it's
well, and
it's
even
free.
Nowadays, the millennials and all them, they've got two incomes bringing in $100,000, $150,000 a year. There's no reason you cannot be completely debt free, including your student loans, all of your credit cards, and your mortgage within a few years earning that kind of money. Now, I get if you're living in New York or whatever, but the majority of the country is not living in those places, and you can do it. We did it here in Colorado even. Now, for those of you who say, well, my mortgage isn't $2,200 a month. Okay, so let's say your mortgage is $1,900 a month, and $1,500 of that is your principal and interest. You will save $810,000 a year. That is the median house payment that Americans have. Let's say you don't even do that. Let's say your house payment is $1,400 a month and it's $1,000 principal and interest. $540,000 you will save in 45 years. That is a lot of money. All right, so what are some of the ways that we were able to pay off our house early so that we were able to save $1 million? One, we drive used cars.
Yep.
The average American spends about $500 a month now on a car payment, which is ridiculous. By not doing that, we save over $6,000 a year on cars. Per car. And we have 5 cars because we have, holy cow. Okay, so we have 5 cars. So 5 times 6, we save ourselves $30,000 a year.
You have 5 cars.
Yes. We've got the Saturn, we've got the the Camry, we've got the I was counting BJ and Ellie's cars when they were driving.
Oh.
They're theirs now. But before, when our teenagers first started driving, we had 5 cars between all of them. So and the truck. And so that's really huge savings right there. $6,000 a year. So your car payment's $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. That is crazy, guys. That's a huge chunk of change. Let's turn this. Okay, let's go do your little calculator here real quick. We didn't even go this far. Do a calculator. $1 million divided by 20. No, wait. $1 million divided by 15 because you have to pay taxes. $1 million divided by 15. That is, divide that by 40.
I have no idea where this is going.
I know where it's going. That is over 1,600 weeks you don't have to work.
What?
How many is 1,600 weeks divided by 12?
12.
At $20, yeah, 12 months in a year. 1,600 divided by, oh wait, did I do that right?
Weeks, there's 52 weeks in the year.
No, that's not right. Now I got messed up. I'm trying to figure out how many years you save if you're earning $20 an hour. So you bring home 15 with taxes. If you're 2 incomes, you got 20.
Sorry, I'm only halfway understanding what you're trying to get at. Okay.
It's $20 an hour. You bring home 15 after taxes and everything.
Right.
So then how many years are you saving for work?
Well, it's $30,000, $31,200 for
So-
a year.
So divide $1 million by 31,000. Or get precise. That's 32 years of work. Is that right?
That's the math that you asked
That's
me to do
crazy.
just now.
Well, is that the right math?
I think so, but what are you trying to say? What's that?
I'm trying to say, think how many years you don't have to waste working at a job you don't like.
You mean to do other things?
Yeah.
So basically you're comparing the house payoff to the mortgage payoff, where you say if it takes you 5 years of exclusively working every moment of the day for 5 years to pay for that vehicle,
Yeah.
that
That's
you
the
could
same thing
quit
with the
working
paying off
for
the
5
house.
years and be in the same position.
Exactly. That's a lot of time. Okay, not eating out. The average American spends $300 a month eating out. Ridiculous. $3,600 a year. Get yourself a good Dining on a Dime cookbook for $24 or all 3 for $29 on sale till tomorrow. And you can save yourself $3,600 with easy, quick and easy meals you can do at home.
So Judy has an important question. Can't you be penalized for early payoff? Most mortgages no mortgage we've ever had has had that. I think you can under certain mortgages, but those are pretty scammy mortgages.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
If you got a scammy mortgage.
I don't know what the penalty would be, but probably I would pay it and get out of it. Like I would probably
But think
refinance
about
it to
this.
another house, to another mortgage.
How much is the penalty? Okay, let's say you're
Well,
penalized
that's what I was gonna say.
$2,000. Let's say you're penalized $5,000. It'd be better to pay that and get out of it than
But
to spend all those years in a mortgage.
It's kind of like we've talked to people that have maybe $300 a month phone plan, and they say, but I'm in a 2-year contract. Yeah, but if you blow the contract right now, most of the time it's like you have to pay 3 extra months from now. You have to pay 3 months of it the service you don't get. But that's instead of paying enormously too much for 2 more years.
Yeah.
So even if you have to pay, I would say when you get into a mortgage or anything like that, you should make sure you don't have a penalty of paying it off early. But I would say
never ever take a mortgage that has an early payoff
But
penalty,
if you're in it,
ever.
it would be better to refinance it. If the refinance might help you avoid that. But if you can refinance into one that doesn't have that, or just pay it.
But don't just assume.
Yeah.
Call your mortgage company and ask them if there's an early payoff
Because that's
penalty.
really
Just
shackling you into bondage.
Yeah.
Like if they're saying, oh, you know, there's a penalty for paying it off early, that basically means they want you to be a bondservant to them for 30 years.
Okay, next, taxes. And I know we're gonna get this, but I get a tax write-off on the interest. Here's the thing. It used to be for every dollar you paid in interest, you would get to take off 28 cents on your taxes. The accountant, and we didn't get the exact numbers, but the accountant just told Mike that that number has changed and gone down.
He said that there's not a lot of benefit for writing off
The mortgage interest
anymore.
at all.
I think, yeah.
Higher, I don't know, maybe it's higher, what's it called, where you have the standard deduction or whatever.
Yeah,
but
basically when you do a write-off for mortgage interest, you're choosing to pay $100 to save $20.
So don't use that as an excuse at all.
Yeah.
So $300 a month eating out, you can save yourself $3,600 a year. Groceries, $7,000 per year is what the average family of 4 spends. $583 a month. You could get that down to $300 a month for 4. That's $3,400 a year. Just these three things is $12,000 per year. If you had a $200,000 mortgage at 3% interest, the principal and interest is $920 a month. You would pay it off in 11 years. If you got a mortgage today, you would pay it off in 11 years instead of 30. That's 19 years earlier. Just cutting the car, the eating out, and groceries. Just those 3 things. If you just cut those 3 things. Imagine if you really went tightwad. And I know a family who earns around $100,000 a year, and they lived on $19,000 a year, so they can get their house paid off and they can get the retirement funded. And her husband is planning on retiring early. You can do it, guys. You really can do it. The next thing is, once you get your house paid or you get some equity into your house. So for us, our house has doubled in value since we've lived here. So we have equity that we didn't pay for. Now, we had 2 other houses where we actually lost money on the houses. So that doesn't always happen, and I wouldn't assume. But when our home went up in value, we did not go out and take out a home equity loan, guys. Ridiculous. Don't go and just ruin all the hard work that you just put into getting your equity in your house. Or even if you just got lucky and the market went up, don't go and ruin it by getting a home equity loan.
Yeah, actually, I hear a lot of ads and a lot of things, and they talk like they're your friends. Oh, hey, I think when we were in England, there was, I forgot what it said on the sign, but it said something like an equity liberation loan or something like that.
Yeah.
Like somebody's stealing it from you and you could just get it out of your house if you borrow this money. And I was thinking, no, you're stealing it from your future self. And I think people don't realize that, because I was looking online and I was looking about what people search about paying off mortgages. And most often they're talking about paying off a mortgage with other debt.
Yeah.
So what good is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so let's be getting some questions here while I do a couple of comments. First, Misty says, we absolutely love your Dining on a Dime cookbook on sale this week. Once again, right here, guys, $29 for all 3. Absolutely love it. My daughter is so picky. She only likes certain things, and this book made it so much easier with her. She grew up on this book. That makes me feel old. The barbecue sauce in this book is the only one she will eat, and she is 21 now. That is so cool. The next one. I have to tell you, your videos are awesome. I've learned so much. My husband had a stroke 3 months ago. I work for a government contractor, so moving is not an option for me. He kept the fact that he had $32,000 in debt, I think, away from her. I've already paid off my car and my daughter's car. I have about $10,000 in debt. We are guilty of eating and taking trips. Now I'm the only one working, so it's my only salary. Thankfully, my mortgage payment is the same or less than rent in Florida. He doesn't think we can do it. I wait until we get things on sale. Just this week, I got everything I needed at Aldi's for $30, and we have stopped eating out and buying coffee out. Guys, here's a perfect example of why you need to get your house paid off. You never know when you're going to have some kind of traumatic medical problem happen and one or both of you are not able to work. That's what happened with my mom. She got sick, and if she would not have had her house paid off, we would not have been able to live on the $500 a month that she got. And so you never ever know when something major is going to happen. This is for the security of your family. And quite frankly, it really ticks me off. It makes me very angry when I hear guys or gals say, well, you only live once. You only live for today. Okay, if you're single or if it's just the husband and wife, fine, whatever. But if you have kids, that is child neglect. And it's wrong. And it's wrong for you to be going out spending on your manicures and your pedicures and your coffees and going to your football games and your baseball games and your new trucks and your new cars when you have kids at home to take care of. And you never know when one or both of the parents are something's gonna happen and one's gonna die or get disabled and not be able to help care for those kids. So that's Tara's little moment there. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, it's been months since we started to tackle our debt. We caught up on our mortgage and all the behind utilities. We have paid off over $20,000 in debt. This email was from a couple of months ago. She just told me that they've paid off $30,000 now. Credit cards have been cut up, accounts closed, eating out cut dramatically, and I mean dramatically, easily down from $2,000 a month they were eating out. On top of that, using your recipes, you may have some, I have gotten my sodium under control. Good for you, EB.
Nice.
And we know who you are. Okay, so that is why we work so hard to pay off our house. We are now working towards retirement, and now, because our house is paid off, we do not have to have as much saved up for retirement. So that $1 million is going to go a long way that we don't have to save up for retirement. So anyway.
But the bigger thing is really it's kind of freeing when you don't have that over your head anymore.
You could have some, Millie.
And it's funny because somebody was saying, and I think she was very nice about it. Some people aren't, but Fiona said you have to find balance. Sometimes we spend too much on pointless things, and sometimes we chase after saving and forget to enjoy life. And that's very true, but people tend to lean more on the money side than on the... People tend to think to enjoy life, I need a lot of stuff. And it's funny because somebody was saying, somebody was talking about Starbucks, and somebody else said, I don't know what the big deal is about Starbucks. I'm not going to say either way, but what I will say is people just kind of go with what they hear in the media and on the news and everything as if it's fact. But people are telling you things because they're trying to sell you something. Everyone is trying to sell you something. It's an idea or a thing or whatever. But the thing is that when it involves you spending a lot of money, and it's a lot of money when it's a little bit of money every day, But those things don't necessarily give you the joy that most people think they give you. And that's the point that we've been trying to make all along.
So Karen says, the tax person in New York State tells me not to pay off my mortgage early, nothing to write off. I'm so confused. Your tax person doesn't know what they're talking about. Now, you ask him for the exact numbers. You ask him, you say, how much am I writing off on my mortgage? How much do I save in taxes by writing off my mortgage? And I guarantee you, it is not the amount that you're paying. And here's the thing. Realtors do this all the time. When someone goes to sell their house, they'll say, you need to fix up your kitchen. Spending that $10,000, $15,000 is a great return on your investment. Putting in new carpet, new floors, that's a great return on your investment. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. It is a lie. A return on investment means you actually get more money than you put in. Guess what? A new kitchen brings 80% more value than what you spent. That means if you spend $10,000 on your new kitchen, you will get $8,000 for a higher asking price on your house. If you spend $5,000 on carpet, you might get $3,500 back for more higher price asking on your house. It is the same with your taxes. He is lying, and it's not true unless there is just something that is totally missing, and there possibly could be. But I have never, ever, ever heard of anyone, for every dollar you spend, you only get 28 cents back on your taxes, and now it's even less. So unless there's just something really strange, and it could be, but you need to ask him exact numbers. And here's the thing.
Well,
make sure these people know what they're doing, guys. Our son was a cell phone salesman. He had someone come in to buy a phone who was a financial planner. He went to go sell her a phone. Her credit score was like 500 and something. A financial planner. He said
but she's advising people on how to handle their money. And it may be...
Yeah, he said she had so many unpaid bills, it was ridiculous.
And
a financial planner.
Somebody a couple of shows ago said, well, you know, can't criticize people for whatever. And I was thinking, I'm going to criticize somebody if I'm paying them for advice.
Yes.
And financial planners, you pay them like $100 an hour for, well, I don't know, it could be more, it could be less, I guess. But it's but you pay them a lot for advice. And to get that kind of advice is just not great. But the other thing is, a lot of accountants, their thinking is, well, their job is to help you, pay what you need to pay, but not pay any more than you need to pay on the taxes.
Should be.
So if there are ways in the tax code that say, hey, you can get this write-off on the house and you'll pay less tax, that's part of the job of the accountant, is to help you pay less tax. But they're not necessarily, some accountants only focus on being able to tell you, I saved you this much money on your taxes. A lot of them do that. But they don't really tell you in the big picture of your life, you spent $10,000 to save $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the problem comes up.
Yeah.
But I will also say, though, in states like New York and California, the mortgages have been higher, and so that the desire for the accountants to help you by getting you a bigger mortgage interest deduction is probably greater in those places than in other places, but it's really not worth it.
Adela says, what if you guys move? Won't you have another mortgage? We are trying everything to not do that. Now, I will admit that Mom and I went and looked at a house this weekend, but it had a recording studio. It would have been perfect. It had a 2,600 square foot recording studio that we thought we might be able to make into a studio and for the business and a second house. But even with the higher price, by the time Mom sold her house and we sold our house, we would have been able to pay cash for it. And then we would have just done the renovations as we had the cash. Now, we are planning to wait 1 to 2, I am looking, but we are planning to wait 1 to 2 years because house prices are starting to go down, and then we'll have more cash saved up because we really want to stay totally debt free if possible. But if something just truly was a super stupendous deal that met all of our needs, because we're having issues with finding space and land to have 2 houses. If we just found something really brilliant, would you like that? We might get a $50,000 or so mortgage, but we're not planning on that. We're planning on saving up the cash.
Our plan is not to buy until
Yeah.
we have the cash.
Yeah.
It just like she said, if
Yeah.
the ideal thing, particularly for the business, came
Laura,
up.
just type in mortgage calculator, mortgage payoff calculator, and there's tons. I think Dave Ramsey has a really good one that you can type in for that. Okay.
And actually, one thing that's cool, because somebody said, I think she said her mortgage was $444 a month. Deborah, I'm paying an extra $400 a month toward principal. So one thing you can do, you can look at your mortgage statement, and we showed this in the mortgage show like 6 months ago. But you can look at your mortgage statement, and it says a certain amount is principal and interest, and a certain amount is this and that. And if you find out how much in that statement it says how much is of your payment is going to just the principal, that's how much it's paying down your mortgage when you just make your regular payment. And if your payment's $444 a month and you're close to the beginning of your mortgage, that would probably be like $150 is going actually towards paying off your loan.
Yeah.
And so when you pay the $400, it's almost like you're paying 3 extra payments, because when you pay that principal down, you won't have all those other payments later.
Yeah. Ellen says, why pay $100 to get $28 back on your taxes? That's right. And Pin says, write-offs are not dollar for dollar. That is true. If you spend $1 in interest, you do not get $1 back on your taxes.
Another thing is the write-off on your mortgage, when the mortgage interest tax was there, if you can write it off, but your taxes aren't that high to begin with, there may not be any value. You can't, if you don't pay, like 49% of America doesn't pay any tax.
Yeah.
And if you're in the don't pay any tax range, then you can't reduce it more than 0.
Yeah. Heidi, our wonderful assistant, thank you for being on here, Heidi. As someone who has a degree in finance, you get 0 personal finance in college. That's so true, and it's so wrong on so many levels. But that's because the colleges are scam. Colleges, I would say a huge percentage of all the college that kids are getting now is just a scam. Flat out scam. Mike is 49. I am 47. So when will you guys talk about where to invest after you pay? So we probably won't talk about investing after you pay off your house. So we may if we do some particular things, but there are other people who are better at that than we are. We are on the practical level to where we want you to do things on a practical level. So there are lots of finance investing people out there that are great. Roth IRAs are a good one to get started with, but you can only do so much on that.
Those are better to start when you're younger if you can, but I would still want to pay off the house
Yes,
first.
it's a fly. We can't get the stupid fly. I don't know why
it's the season of the year when one fly
every year we try to kill them. And
by the way, we're kind of working on an improving the equipment for the show, but we're not quite sure how soon that'll be. And one thing else I was going to mention, did you talk about what we were doing today?
What were we doing today?
As far as the books?
Oh! Run into the office real quick and go get the big stack so they can see it. Okay, so Mike's going to show you what we were working on today. First of all, Cherry right here, she asked a question, so I thought I would sew. She heard me say how I love the black sheep. Isn't that cute? She made that for me as a late birthday present. Thank you, I love it. How do I organize my receipts? I have them divided by category, so like Walmart, grocery, that kind of thing, medical, dental, and then I put them in by date. I just organize them by date, and every month I clear out my wallet or whatever. This is part of what we were working on today. Can anybody guess what this is? Anybody get? Heidi knows what this is because Heidi was working on this. All right. Go ahead and start making some comments, guys, and we're going to do our giveaway in just a minute. This is our next Dining on a Dime cookbook. All new different recipes right here. All new different recipes. Got them right here. Now, I have even better news. as we were going through this, we realized we had too many recipes. So we had to call some out, and guess what? We've got a no-bake cookbook halfway done with the recipes that we pulled from here.
Because there were just too many.
There were just too many, so we're gonna hopefully have a no-bake cookbook for summer. So super excited about that. We've got an Instant Pot cookbook so that we're working on. My assistants Heidi and Janelle are helping me get started with that. So our viewer Karen, thank you Karen, wanted to send me a gift, and I didn't know what it was. And she wanted to send me a gift, and I was like, okay. She said, I promise I'm not an axe murderer or anything. Can I send you a gift? I said, yeah. And so she, here you go. Ellie's digging into the pie. So it shows up on my door, and it's an Instant Pot. So she's hoping that I will become one with the Instant Pot, and
it's a high bar for us now because she
so,
feels the pressure to have to like it now.
So here's the funny thing. The first time I used it, I made ribs, and David said, Mom, why don't you stick with the crock pot?
Although
didn't start off very good.
Tara's trying really hard to
trying.
bond with it, and I think she was hoping to come up with recipes that even she can do in the Instant Pot.
Although I did find out part of my problems with the Instant Pot is we are high altitude and I was not adjusting anything. So then Mike got this from Mary.
Oh, Mary, thank you so much. Do you know me or what? Here, I didn't bring back enough Earl Grey when I was in London. Mary sent me a whole case of Earl Grey.
Case.
Thank you very much. That's really awesome. It's obviously you were listening because it's my favorite tea. So
and
thank you.
Holly sent me this cute little card with these cute little pumpkin coasters. Aren't those cute? And she said, "I'm sorry if my comments came across negative." Now, isn't that nice? She apologized. Now, frankly, I don't remember your comment. I'm sorry. But thank you for apologizing. We've actually had a couple of people apologize, and they say, you know what? You were right. I needed a good swift kick in the pants. Now, she was just not feeling good, she said. But thank you very much for this guilt gift. I appreciate it because I love everything fall. I put up with the rest of the seasons just to have fall. So
yeah.
Thank you. I love those. And then one more we got from Cindy saying she loves the new name, she loves watching us, and
Thank
don't
you,
let
Cindy.
the haters get you down because those people just don't have their act together.
We don't even see the haters anymore. That's what's brilliant. So,
all right, any last
but I
questions
do feel
here?
sorry for them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, actually, there are a couple things here that were kind of cool. Sorry. Heather says our mortgage interest didn't do anything for our taxes. Actually,
Yeah.
I didn't think about this, but the reason why we have never really paid attention to that is I have almost always done our taxes till the company just got too complicated. But I mean, even then I was still doing them, but it was just taking too long. But when you do your own taxes, you start thinking, well, what is this? Because they used to tell us, oh, hey, you know, if you've got your home office and you've got your business in the home office, you can write off, you can depreciate the parts of the house that you use for your home office. Well, an accountant was doing that, like taking off our office and the space where we store all the books. And after about 4 years, I just looked at the taxes really carefully myself, and I realized they had been doing it wrong. And we ended up having to refile and pay back some stuff because they had written off the whole house as business. But then I realized if you use your house as business and you take a depreciation on the property, you have to pay that back when you sell the house. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, so you're not really getting anything for it. And when I started realizing, wow, you know, you pay this much in interest and look how much it saves you on your mortgage, not very much. And it made me realize, doing it myself, those things.
Yeah.
There were a couple other things that were on
So
here.
there's a couple people said they love the hot chocolate in dining, and they love the granola bars, and there was something else that they said that they loved. I can't remember.
Earlier in the show, Margaret asked, because Margaret's dairy free, do you know if it would set up with almond or soy milk?
I have not tried it with almond or soy milk. I'm dairy free, but I can't do chocolate either. So
thicken it with something?
well, the cornstarch is a thickener. That's one of those recipes you may just have to try. It's like 75 cents worth of ingredients, so it's worth a try to give it a try. I am working on a dairy-free, gluten-free cookbook. I don't know how long that's going to take me because seriously, I got inspired. We actually have something exciting happening, I think, around Christmas or the New Year that we're not going to say anything. But with this whole printer thing,
Oh, that.
we have something exciting.
Oh,
And when
yeah.
I discovered this, I was like, whoop! Here we go. It's the Dining on a Dime collection. Woohoo! Woohoo! And yesterday, I thought, you know what? Look at the irony in this, but I should submit the book to Costco. Would that not be hilarious?
Well, even though I think people are...
But I think Costco shoppers would love
I
it.
do too. And I think, the funny thing about Costco is I myself don't dislike Costco. It's just the people are tempted to spend too much and mostly do.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is, CGT says a friend with a business degree talked all the time about how you could use your home equity as if it were a great way to save money. She still hasn't paid off her mortgage and way ahead of her. And somebody else was saying, who was it that said that? Albany Mountain Homestead, try 2 bankers with a double mortgage on a $700,000 home, then they say they're house poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing I've noticed is people have come to think of debt as income. It's not income. And I realized this before I met Tawra. I was working, I had gone to college, and was working at a grocery store that I had worked at through high school, and doing television for free to try to get my foot in the door. And I realized, where am I going with this? What was this?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, we tithe 10% of everything, minimum.
I forgot what I realized. I was borrowing money and putting it on credit cards at the time, but because my income was really low, I didn't get nearly as far into debt as most people. And then I realized, wait, I have to pay this now. And I was paying, and I realized I'm not getting anything for this anymore. I'm paying on it, and I'm really mad at the company for charging me interest and for doing all this and all those other people that are doing things to me. And finally one day it just came to me, I stole it from myself.
Yep.
And now I have to pay it back. And that's really where a lot of us pretty much, for the most part, almost all debt is that. You stole it from yourself,
Yeah.
and now you have to pay it back. And, instead of saying, oh, I can't believe, just get diligent about it and pay it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're at the point of I'm still in credit card debt, I can't think about the mortgage right now. It's good to have the long-term goal and then focus on the part that's right in front of you and just knock it out as hard as you can.
So someone asked if we tithe, and they said, I'd like to tithe more, but I need to wait till I get caught up. Do not wait until you get caught up on your finances to tithe more. I guarantee you, if you start tithing 10%, God will bring in the money for you to pay all your bills. It's a principle that has worked all the time. We have never, ever not tithed 10% of all of our income. When we made $6 an hour, we tithed 10%. When we made $15 an hour, we tithed 10%. When we made $30,000 a year, we tithed 10%. Now, we tithe 10%. And so that's the minimum. Now, there's tithe, which I think is the minimum, and then there's gifts and offerings above that as you feel led to give. And so, yes, that's that on tithing, but I would not wait. God wants to know that you trust Him to take care of you.
Because it's all His. But don't misunderstand. Tara is not saying you give a certain amount of cash and God gives you more cash.
No.
It's
but
not that at all.
You'll never know. It'll come in different ways.
We've been blessed in so many ways.
Like, your car breaks down. Well, it just happens, your neighbor happens to be getting rid of a part that you have that part. For us, we needed a garage door opener. It was really physically hard for me to lift my garage door, but we didn't have the money for garage door opener. Our neighbor came over and he said, I've got this garage door opener that I'm going to get rid of. Do you guys want it? We were like, well, yeah. Him and Mike put it up, and we had a new garage door. So it'll come in different ways that you don't know.
And they're not all financial or
And they're
money
not
related.
all, yeah, but if you tithe, God will promises he will take care of your needs. But you have to trust him with that amount before.
On that, I have to go back real briefly to some people that were talking about, you got to live while you can, spend the money while you can. What I found is the money doesn't make you happy. It doesn't matter. People think if I have more stuff, it makes them happy, and it's always the reverse.
Yeah. Okay, what do we think about renting instead of buying a house? I have no problem with you renting. In some places it's maybe cheaper to rent because you have to think about it. If you're renting, you don't have to pay maintenance. You don't have to pay for a new water heater. You don't have to pay to water your yard. You don't have to pay to have, whatever fixed. So sometimes renting is a very viable option. And so just because we paid off our house and we're debt free that way, I'm not necessarily saying that renting is a bad way to go. You need to just do the numbers. If you can save up the down payment and get a house on your income, then do that. But frankly, I think most families now with 2 income earners, they should be saving the cash. There's no reason why these millennials making $150,000 a year cannot
With no kids.
Cannot save up the cash in 5 or 6 years to buy a $300,000 house. That is easy, even with student loans and all of that. So I have no problem renting, and I think, you should pay cash if you can. So
there's something else to say on that. I would say on the renting, if you live in a place and you're not sure how long you're going to live there, I would not buy. Because then you get locked into something, and then there's expense in selling it. If you're living in a place where it looks like the housing market isn't very good, it might be better to rent. So like we bought a house in a remote location in Idaho where more people were leaving the town than coming to the town.
And
that was our first big learning mistake.
We had to pay $8,000 check for someone to buy our house.
And you want to think about the future. When you buy a house, you should always think, what if I need to sell this house? Like we've looked at houses here recently that were, like a year ago, that were kind of a lot more suited for the family and the business and everything, but they were very unique in the way they were put together in a way that makes them difficult to sell. Well, even though we would like to never move again, we have to think, what if something happens and we have to sell that house? You always
don't know if
need
your
to
kid's
keep
going to
that.
get sick in another state or what.
Because the thing is, if your money's locked into it, you need to think about it in the same way you would think of an investment. I hate to say that because it's not making you money, but the thing is, it's not costing you. Your money is in there, and so you want to make sure that that the money doesn't get lost in there because you make a bad decision in the beginning. And then our son right now, he's renting a place but he's working a job where he gets a lot more than the rent, and his plan is to just save and save and save as much as he can to get into a house as quick as possible.
That's why we're living on a dime to grow rich now, because the whole point of living on a dime is to bring yourself up and improve your situation. No matter what your situation is, you can always do something to help improve your situation just a little bit more every day. So, Pamela.
I was going to say one thing, because sometimes people talk about taxes and insurance and stuff like that. The thing is, certain parts of the country, the taxes are really, really high, and you don't actually have to live there.
Yeah.
You can move to a place where they're less. And not only that, in your state, sometimes another town or living 2 miles outside of a town are dramatically cheaper on the taxes. So keep that in mind, too.
Like the house that we looked at on this weekend, it cost a third more than this house, but the taxes were only $2,500 instead of the $3,500 we pay on this house because of where it's located.
Yeah.
Like Minnesota, Wisconsin has ridiculously high taxes. So we've decided we're not going to go to those places because it would cost us just $50,000 more to live in Colorado over 40 years than to live there. So for us, that's not worth it. So. And
one other thing, I don't know if you mentioned this, but one other thing I just wanted to say, it occurred to me on the saving on the house thing. In Colorado, a lot of people, they might be a husband and wife and they have a 5,000 square foot house. if you don't have a lot more house than you need, then it's much easier to have a lot more money to put away or to do whatever with. And I think people don't realize they have a huge house with a really high mortgage, and then they're expecting that when they get to retirement age, they're going to have to scrimp and save until they die. And I'm not really worried about that, but I think that it's mainly now you have to plan for then. And again, let me just say, what we've come to realize is we don't do things like dry paper towels on the clothesline or something, which I knew somebody once who did that. And that's ultra cheap, and I wouldn't really do that. But the thing I was thinking is, not having a lot of things that really don't mean anything to you is actually a blessing to you. And then having, being able to only put that into the things that really mean something, eventually you realize not very many financial things mean anything. So the idea is, oh yeah, your income goes up, don't get a bigger house unless you need one. Like for us right now, kids are starting to move out. So as far as the family goes, we don't necessarily need that much space. Business is continuing to grow. It needs more space. And so we're kind of having to figure that out. But in general, I would think about your family situation and not have a lot more house than you need.
Yeah. See, like for our situation, if we go ahead and get all these cookbooks done up and printed like we want, we are going to have to get a warehouse somehow. So if that's on our property, or we have considered moving it to our assistants in Minnesota, something like that.
Sorry, Terry has a question that's relevant. Do the jobs there pay more? And I'm not sure if you mean here in Colorado, but what I can say is in Colorado, some of the jobs pay somewhat more than when we lived in Kansas, but the house is 4 times as expensive, and the job doesn't pay that much more.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the jobs equal the expense of the houses.
Yeah, when I was doing television in Kansas, we moved to Colorado, and we were also doing Living on a Dime. And I thought about trying to get some television stuff here like we did there, but I would have to drive to Denver an hour away, and it would only pay slightly more than in Wichita, Kansas. So sometimes that's another thing to consider is you might think the job pays more in the place where the real estate is more expensive, but
not always.
Often it pays a little bit more, but not enough more for the expense of the additional house and taxes and everything else.
Yeah. Okay, Pamela asked on page 62, cinnamon orange coffee. That is to make it into a gift. Thank you for pointing that out. I will correct that for the next edition of the book. So just put the coffee in a filter and just brew it like you would normally, okay? So thank you for pointing that out. I will fix that recipe on page 62 on our next printing if we ever find a printer. I don't know.
Well, we're sort of starting to think maybe there's 1 or 2 out there.
We got one in Colorado that we're waiting on a quote, who's actually a viewer.
We're kind of really like, oh yeah, we want to.
We've got 3 in China that we're waiting on samples for, and so this whole printer thing has really thrown us for a loop. But guys, we do have enough books left right now. Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Penny Pinch Mama, and Menus on a Dime. $29 for all 3. They will not be this cheap again. Okay. So if you want this set, grab it. It's off sale tomorrow, and then we'll just be selling these by the way. Okay, everybody, make a comment. We're going to give you 2 minutes here to make a comment to keep up for lag. We are giving away a 20th anniversary edition and a quick and easy menus. We'll do 2 winners, one for Facebook, one for YouTube. So go ahead, comment something.
A lot of people want to know, where did you get that?
Oh, my apron. I got it at Hobby Lobby.
Did you?
Yes,
Many
I just
people are
bought
loving
it. Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
It was 50% off too. So.
Ardilla says, my son is watching this video gleefully right now. Yay!
Yeah, hello.
Oh, Glenn, I loved my biscuit recipe. Yay!
Oh, and by the way, guys, while we're waiting for you to make a comment for the giveaway. My new channel, go to my new channel and put a link for them, please.
Okay.
Healing Scriptures and Bible Verses. I have 2 new videos up on anxiety. I am doing the videos. It's the same verses in different forms. So one's with music, one's voice only, and then I'm getting ready to do one with rain. Tonight or tomorrow I'll get it uploaded. but healing scriptures and Bible verses, please go like and subscribe my channel. I have new verses on anxiety because I know that's a huge issue. So we're going to do that. Okay, I'm going to count to 30 and then I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What am I doing? Oh,
9, 10.
I thought you were ready.
Any other questions before we go?
20.
20. Oh, that dumb fly. I am sorry, guys. We thought we had them all killed, and then they just
When we
show up.
when we upgrade the gear, we should get a little thing on the camera that goes.
Oh, that'd be gross. Have fly guts all over?
No.
Okay,
not-
29,
not good guts all
30.
over. Spray it with vinegar or something.
Okay, here we go. You
Okay,
ready?
Okay, ready.
Okay, you ready? Scroll. Stop. Who'd you land on?
Stop. Victoria Judy Bozard.
Okay, she's got
And
dining
she says
on
we
a
love
dime.
dining on a dime.
So, Judy, since you have dining, I will send you quick and easy menus.
Oh, it's Victoria.
Or Victoria.
But
Sorry,
I think-
Victoria. Victoria, since you have dining on a dime, I will send you quick and easy menus. Send me your address, editor@livingonadime.com. Send me your address and that you won the quick and easy. Okay, YouTube, you ready?
Oops. Let me switch over there. Just making sure I got Victoria's name in place. All right.
Okay, scroll. Stop.
Boom.
Alice. Terry with a smiley face.
Yay.
Dining on a Dime cookbook. Send me your address, editor@livingonadime.com. Good job. I have probably 100 books in the garage that we're going to be giving away on shows that are old editions or they were damaged or whatever. So we're going to be giving those away on shows. So keep watching our shows, guys. And
giving them away.
yes. So anyway, property taxes where we live in our house is $3,500 a year, but we have a special taxing district
Which we
because
specifically said we didn't want to our agent
and the realtor
and
the
I should have probably looked a little more because just outside of our town the taxes are half.
yes. So for the same price house, not in our neighborhood.
And we don't live
It
in a
would
place
be-
that has like lots of
Yeah.
elaborate parks
No.
and libraries and things, so there's no reason really that
Yeah.
we feel like
If we didn't live in this house, it would only be $1,500, and that's one thing we're looking at. So anyway, please like, subscribe, and share. Visit us at livingonadime.com so you can live on a dime to grow rich. We will
Yes.
see you guys on Wednesday, and I think I'm going to make beef stroganoff, and I don't know what exciting topic we're going to talk about, but I'm going to make beef stroganoff.
And thanks a lot for being with us today.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your night.
Good night. And now, since our tech crew is gone,
They're gone. I'll see if anybody else is on here.
man, I can't wait to have some of this pie. Looks so delicious.